Personally, I want to slay the dragon. Let's go to work. Hello and welcome to a Smurp video, and today I am looking at the Angel and Faith Season 9 Library Edition books. Okay, so first off it's Angel and Faith, and just to be clear, there will be spoilers in this review. So in the background you can see Big Ben, so you can tell where this is set in the UK. So the idea is Angel is kind of feeling with guilt after killing Giles in Season 8 of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, when he was influenced as Twilight or by Twilight. Yeah, it gets a bit, I felt it got a bit messy, to be honest with you, but you know, they did some pretty cool stuff. And there's the back. Okay, if I've counted correctly, it's got about 11 issues inside, so that is a nice bulk I found. And this one looks really nice. Murky London, I guess. That looks really cool. I'm digging that side. And then this is the Money Shot, Drusilla and Faith. And then there's just a bit inside. So the book comes with this lovely little bookmark, which is quite cool, so you don't have to go get something separate. There, I find the stories in this series are really well constructed. You've got Angel as Twilight. He kind of recruited these guys, and they weren't happy with him kind of reverting back to, I guess, Angel. So in his quest to bring Giles back, he goes after a certain type of blood that can regenerate. However, he finds that people who have been using this, because there is no magic in the world, they basically just keep evolving, and they basically end up growing extra limbs, disgusting masses of fat, and it just basically doesn't stop. So in the end, they decide that's probably not a good idea for a way of bringing Giles back. Also, throughout the series, we start seeing Angel start to bring in pieces of Giles' soul, and you don't kind of notice it at first. It starts coming in later on. You know, this is the bit where you notice, hey, that just remind you of Giles. Glasses, library, reading. There's a really cool story with Harmony and Clem. It was in Buffy. And basically Clem's kind of in love with Harmony, and he has this video of her siring another vampire, which she's kind of against these days. And she's kind of leading the whole hierarchy. Vampires don't eat blood. So it turns out that it's Clem. Basically, he loves her. She doesn't love him, but it all ends up with a happy ending. I do like the fact that Giles is dead. There is still some really familiar parts of him in this book. You know, we get to see glimpses of his past and why perhaps he becomes Ripper, and kind of goes a bit off the rails, which is something new to a well-known character. Another fantastic part is about Drusilla. She's sane. The monster that we saw earlier with Giles kind of feeds off people's fears and pain, and it kind of makes it get away, which is pretty cool. So a sane Drusilla, sure, that's the most insane thing we've ever read. And finally, Faith has her own little storyline in this as well. It's not just about Angel. She has daddy issues, which we kind of always thought was there, but you don't really know fully what was going on. So we finally get some of that story about her dad and his dodgy dealings, and it ends up kind of sending Faith in the direction that she thought she had escaped. I also just wanted to point out the art is fantastic, and there are some amazing fight scenes in this volume, especially between Drusilla and Angel. Now, we've always known that Giles was into magic, but I guess we didn't really truly know how rooted it actually was until this book, which is once again something that they're giving their fans more about a character that you think you know and love. At the back we get some character shots and some costume designs on characters. Kind of like what we did in Season 8's library editions. And we also get creators' biographies, which I always enjoy reading, about the team that Josh has picked for these books. And you know what, I've just realized that this is Drusilla. It's only taken me reading the book and reviewing it to actually realize that. So all in all, that's volume 1. I enjoyed volume 1. That's on to volume 2. Okay, so Angel and Faith book 2, and this is by far my favorite book of the 3. It had a real, how can I say, angel feel to it. So for the cover, you got Willow at the top, you got Spike, you got Angel, and then obviously you got Faith. It's their book. Here is the side, and here is the back. And I've got to say, this volume really flows through. There's Connor at the bottom. He has a part to play in this book. Inside the dust cover, you have this lovely little bio, I guess is the word. A brooding Spike. And here's some reviews. Here is some amazing work on the cover. It really feels glossy. And the other side is Angel and Connor. Oh, sorry. So the first sort of story arc is family reunion. So basically, Willow comes to Angel, basically wanting his help to restore magic after it's being lost, and she knows that the scythe perhaps has a piece of Giles' soul in it. So the only way she thinks that that could happen is by going to Kortoth, which is where Connor was raised by Holtz. And this story really has a kind of Angel feel for it. You have Gunn, you have Connor, you have a team up with Willow, and you have an adventure into a dimension where Connor is worshipped apparently, and he wants to save all these little people here who believe love, etc. is the way forward, but that's not Kortoth's way. And basically this big fella is made out of Kortoth, and he wants to destroy them all. And Willow goes all dark, as you can imagine, and Angel, not the last time he was in another dimension, he changed into a vampire. Didn't turn out so well. So the only way he knows how to potentially stop Willow is by doing this, risking everything, hoping that the bite would bring her down to sort of earth and snap out of it, which it works, luckily. And Willow knows if Angel goes too far, that Faith will step in at the right moment as well. So it's a really good story, and it takes you away from his quest from Giles, but I think it was needed for the story to evolve, because obviously the first part of book 1 was mainly about setting up the scene, them going on this quest to revive Giles. And now that quest is evolving and other things are taking place. The second story is pretty great. We have Whistler back, and he's been kind of roaming throughout the series and season 8 of Buffy, just in the kind of background, and we kind of find out what he's about, and he's actually pretty powerful. You know, you don't imagine this guy that was giving him hot dogs was that powerful. And we find out his origins, and that he's lived a very long time, and his role is basically to be neutral throughout, and he's played the good guy and the bad guy at times. The second part of the story is about the twins and how they kind of came about, etc, etc, and they've got a weird mom and stuff like that. It's kind of a bit crazy. So these guys are playing a big role in this book as well. They followed Twilight, and it didn't pan out the way they thought it was, and now they're kind of after Angel in a sense. Spike has his own 5-part story in this book, and I've got to say, these guys in the background, these guys are the best bit of the whole story, I find. Spike's kind of brooding over Buffy and how that's not happening. And he's still going on his crazy quests into space. And he kind of comes across these guys on the dark side of the moon, and they ran away from the battle at Sunnydale, and now they want to head back to the Hellmouth. Now, they're all heading back to the Hellmouth because they want some of the shards of the seed. And this lady comes to Spike's rescue, funny enough, and he returns the favor. And we also, there he is, return the favor. The bugs join the fight, which is quite cool. This is what I like about them. They're you know, Master Spike's second in command, and he kind of treats them how you would expect Spike to treat minions, like crap. And we find a bit about the twins once again, and Spike meeting them, and he takes out a guy that was basically going to kill her while she was made to make more babies. She kind of thought he was dashing. And you can imagine what Drusilla is saying. Hey, take her up on whatever it is you do with young naked women at this point in time. Probably not nice things. So as you can imagine, they have a bit of a ruffle, and Spike manages to maneuver the guys into smashing the wall and blocking themselves in. So he wanders off with the mysterious half-demon, or whatever she is. And as you can imagine, she's using all her charm, and he's kind of too dumb enough to see it, funny enough. Why these guys in the background make contingencies for Spike messing up, basically, in a nutshell. So finally, when Spike realizes what she-demon kind of has, she has a shard, and she plans to open up a Hellmouth. These guys act upon their own. Best thing ever. And here she is opening up the Hellmouth. And these little rocks grow. These guys go to war. Like I said, the best minions ever. And it is pretty epic. They take out pretty much most of the rock monsters. Except they turn into one big one. Now the hero of the story is Sebastian, who pretty much sacrifices himself. Which is a real shame. So this pretty much leaves Spike without minions, without a ship, without a half-demon girlfriend. So you can only imagine what's going to happen next. Angel gives him a call. That's pretty much the end of this story. Okay, so at the back of the book you get the usual extras, some nice artwork, some info into the way that the writer writes the book, some awesome covers, and I love this one. This one's my favorite. Now I always like this bit where they talk about why they do what they do in these books. Some concept art. Then we get creator biographies. And what other books you want to get? Okay, so the final book of season 9 of Angel and Faith is basically, it brings all the kind of final pieces of the series together. So for the cover you got Giles, Angel, obviously Faith, and you've got the twins at the back, Pearl and Nash. So as usual, really nice cover, really nice side, and oh my goodness, that's not a good sign. That's really not a good sign when that gets stuck either. Sorry. And there is the back, and I think they have done a really fantastic job with this series. Underneath the cover is Faith, and as usual, lovely picture art. And then on the back you got Angel and Faith in what appears to be the final round on Big Ben. Sorry. Okay, so I like to think that this book here is split into 3. So first of all, you got Death and Consequences, which is a 4-part story, and we see an adolescent Giles and we see more of his past and how that ties in with now. And it's all about Aegon, and I'm sorry if I haven't said that correctly. So in season 2 of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, we see a glimpse of what Ripper was up to, and this demon was basically possessing I guess his friends at the time, who gave their souls to him. So basically Giles, if you think about Angel's conquest, Giles gave his soul to this demon, so a big part of his soul is within this demon, which is now on Earth in full demon form, and he's not in other dimensions. Spike also comes back to help Angel, who I think is his friend, basically, in a nutshell. And as you can imagine, it all goes as planned. This is Zombie Giles, so just so you're aware, there's a Zombie Giles in this story, which is quite cool. And he basically takes the last bit of Giles' soul. I really dig this picture. This is pretty cool. The next story, they kind of joke that it's Spike and Faith. Basically, we have Angel. He's got himself and Giles in his brain, and if all goes wrong with the spell, you could have Angelus released. Giles could be lost and not put back in his body, which is pretty darn cool. And Spike goes down there and kind of annoys him to pieces to bring out the angel that we want to come out the other side. I know that this is meant to be an Angel and Faith, but it kind of bugged me that they brought Spike into the series only for him to go, oh no, Buffy's in trouble, and he just kind of runs off kind of pig-headed. It kind of bugged me a bit, because I think he's better in Angel, whether it be a comic book series or TV series. I think he's better. Him and Angel, the banter between them is always been hilarious. Giles' return does not go as planned. He returns as an adolescent child, which is quite funny and quite ironic. And Faith, he's still Giles. He's still been through the same experiences. He's just in a child's body, basically. So much that he gets a bit excited. Bless him. But yeah, hilarious twist to the story, I think. So the final few issues of this series is Whistler's plan to create paradise, as he put it, is absolutely horrific. The people on the streets where magic, etc., is being kind of reborn. Pretty much people are being demented, disformed, disfigured, whatever you want to call it. It's happening. I always felt that these 3 books had a really good background characters. The Nash and Pearl twins, Nadira's little story within it as well. The old wizard guy, Giles' colleague. They've all played a significant part in this. So forth that Nadira actually gets quite screwed up in this final kind of battle, wanting her revenge on Nash and Pearl, and it kind of backfires because she's fighting with rage and not thinking or fighting with what she should be fighting hard, I guess. Okay, so these guys run off with the whatever it is globe. And they kind of mess up because they want to be what they are. So they give up their protection, and obviously they lose to these guys who want to put in the final endgame for Whistler, who Angel is ferociously fighting. However, Nadira, as I was saying, she's still somehow alive. And this is the bit that I kind of like, the kind of, the final surprise kind of thing, even though she kind of messes it up, but it gives Faith a chance to have a go and kind of finish Nash, which is pretty cool. I really enjoyed Whistler's story in this, that he's kind of neutral and in between, because when he shows up in that season 2 Buffy Vampire Slayer story. You don't get much from him other than, hey, you're here to kind of do some good sort of thing, and that was the part that Angel was meant to play at that point. So I think he kind of, once a bit of magic's there, he realizes that, hey, I wasn't in the right frame of thinking. It kind of reminds me of when Doyle kind of sacrificed himself. You know, Whistler kind of does the same to give balance. So he brought balance to the Force. That's, yeah. Let's move on. And the tale kind of ends with these two departing. And, well, pretty much these two departing. But I think Angel knows that he's needed, and he's here to help the helpless. In the back, once again, we get some really nice concept art, which is always really great. We get to see some cover art, and this is the one that's on the front of this book, underneath the dust cover. There we go. That's pretty cool. We get a bit about creator biographics. Oh goodness. It's been a long day. Terrible. And that's pretty much this. And this is all the other stories that are going on. Okay, so here it is next to Marvel Omnibus, The Amazing Spider-Man. And next to a hardcover from All New X-Men. So you can see that these library editions are taller than the omnibuses. So you can see they're really quite big. And you know, they look really strong and quite a big on the shelf. I lost my words there. That's just embarrassing. So here they are together side by side, so you get a nice picture of Angel, Spike, who is probably one of my favorite characters, and you got Faith. So all in all, if you're a fan of Angel and Faith, a fan of Buffy the Vampire Slayer even, these books are for you. They are pretty awesome. They do some fantastic storytelling, and I've really enjoyed reading them. Thank you for watching. Embrace the geekiness. Goodbye.